Catflap chats. I don't know what episode this is going to be now. I've lost count in lockdown, to be honest. But we are fortunate today to bring you man of the moment for Wales Rugby, so it seems. Mr. Josh Adams, how are you, pal?
All good, mate.
What's going on? How's lockdown been for you?
Well, I got a puppy just at the beginning, so that's it's my second dog. So I've got two now, two cockapoos.
Yeah.
So the little one, I say little one, a little dog, has been keeping me sane for the majority of it. As it is toilet training him and whatnot. So
yeah,
he's helped me a lot. It got to a point in the middle, didn't it? I'm pretty sure for everybody where it was like, right, okay, we've done this for a couple of weeks now. We're starting to the boredom starting to hit, and losing motivation probably to get your training done as much as you should. But in the grand scheme of things, it hasn't been that bad. It could be a lot worse, and I think we're quite fortunate that we've got lovely home here, and so I'm looking forward to getting back now. It has been a while now.
Yeah, it's, I think just some sort of normality, and obviously for you guys, I suppose, who are used to that routine, obviously being around 30, 40, 50 lads every day, and backroom staff and all that sort of stuff. So I can imagine it can be difficult at times. How's the injury coming on there, mate? And what sort of training have you been able to do in lockdown?
Yeah, so injury's good now, great. I've been quite lucky, really, that the Welsh Rugby Union allowed me to take a lot of the gym equipment that I was going to need, really, for rehab and just maintaining weights and things like that from the Vale. So I've taken a car up there, filled it up, brought it back, and my missus ain't too happy because I've taken over the majority of the kitchen. We have a little sitting room on the side, like a sitting area, I should say, and cleared that to the side, and that's basically my home gym at the minute. It isn't it isn't the best setup, but it's got everything I need,
That's perfect.
So I've just been chipping away on that. Look, I haven't been killing myself, because this time that we've had in lockdown has been really nice to let your body sort of get back to normal, because it's never normal when you're smashing each other every weekend, So that's been nice, but look, hopefully that all can go back pretty soon and we can get into a half-tidy gym then.
Yeah, I think they're all about the middle of August now, aren't they, for rugby to start back? And I think as fans, I definitely look forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting back down the Arms Park in the one of the boxes and have a couple of beers and see people again if you're allowed, and if not, just watch it on TV. And just that, I think sport just brings a lot of enjoyment for people, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. I think, like, I'm a big Liverpool fan, and I was absolutely clucking for Wednesday, even though they weren't playing. I knew there was going to be football on that I'm interested in.
Yeah,
and I've been watching a lot of the NRL, the Australian rugby, because that's been playing for the past, I think, 3-4 weeks, isn't it? So I've been watching that. At first, when it first started back, I was a bit like, oh, do I want to watch this? But only because I'd been out of the sort of routine of watching sport or playing it even. So I was like, I'm just saying I'd rather watch White Lines than I can watch. Have you watched that?
Yeah, I watched that. I've completed that one. There'll be I won't give any spoilers, but it was an interesting ending.
It was, yeah.
It's
interesting news, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been to Ibiza, and it wasn't my experience of Ibiza.
No, it was it. I've never been, but I don't know. I won't say too much, because if people watch this and they are watching what happens, then I don't want to be a spoiler. But you should definitely watch it if you haven't seen it.
Is that what you is that kind of what you get up to then, away from sort of rugby and that, Netflix, and what else do you get up to?
Well, I walk the dogs a lot. Now I got two of them, so I'm out with them. I live in Pentllygate, right, and my house is a new build in a new estate called Enzo Homes in Pentllygate, and it basically backs on to Pentllygate Woods.
Okay, perfect.
Really, really popular spot for majority of this area. To take the dogs for a walk, or there's a cycle path, so it's actually really nice. So I spend hour and a half a day. Always nice to get out there, just for an hour and a half, just walk the dogs down there. I've just been, chipping away a bit of gym, watching, like you said, a lot of TV. But now sort of I'm more outside doing my running sessions or, you know what, I didn't go to Tesco for about 6 weeks after lockdown, 7 weeks. I sent my missus every time. I wasn't going. I was just adamant, look, I'm not going there. I was saying, you got a queue when it's wet. The queues go as far as the shops on the retail park, right?
Yeah.
I'm not standing there. So to be fair to her, she's done the shopping every time. since lockdown.
Do you do the cooking then?
No, I don't cook either. She does the cooking.
You've got it made, you have.
Oh, mate, tell me about it. And she's also started with her sister now. So her sister's doing cheesecakes. She's doing brownies.
Oh, banging.
Yeah, really good as well. So she's been smashing these brownies out, like advertising the week, then doing the deliveries on the weekend.
Yeah.
So blondies, brownies, all sorts, Oreo, Galaxy, whatever. And obviously the first part is trial and error. You know what I mean? It was new to her to baking all these, so she was like, "I'll see how it goes." But as it's got on, she's got really good at it. And it's been difficult not just to absolutely cane all.
I can imagine
in the house, because there's loads of them now. You know what I mean? Because she's making 15, 16 boxes for people who are ordering, and they're looking at you, and you can smell them.
They're saying hello.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that my weight isn't up, and I'm not looking that bad considering I've had a couple.
For every one you have to do another half an hour on the assault bike.
I think I had so much. Yeah, that's why I bought the assault bike. Like, if I have a box of this, I'm gonna have to get on after 20 minutes just to
brutal.
You know what I mean?
Fair play to you. Hey, mate, life's for living, pal. Especially, it's interesting what you said. I've never played pro rugby, but obviously got a lot of mates who do, and I suppose you won't get this time again normally in a career where you've got 3 months actually not battering the body week in, week out in terms of impacts.
100%. We had a webinar the other day just about how things are going to look now when we can return to training and the protocols and things like that.
Yeah.
So, and one of the slides, it said, this is the longest period of time any player would have had off in their professional career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's this, everybody wishes we were never in lockdown. There was no coronavirus, and everything was flown as normal. And, it has been devastating for the nation, isn't it? For loads of people.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
But as part of being a rugby player, this period of time, I'm pretty sure it would have prolonged boys' careers, definitely, especially the older lads, you know what I mean, who are like 32, 33. This 3 months could add an extra 2-year contract onto their onto their playing career. So, in that ways, it could have worked wonders.
Definitely. And for you personally, I suppose, being injured and coming back from injury, actually, has it been a bit easy for you knowing that there is no rugby that you're missing out on? I know you'd rather be out there and you'd rather the boys be out there even if you can't, but has it made it a bit easier for you that actually I can see the light at the end of the tunnel because the tunnel's been moved and it's much further away?
Yeah, funny, isn't it? Because obviously I had the injury. I think it was the third game in the Six Nations, wasn't it, against France? And then we had England and Scotland to go. So, look, nobody ever wants to get injured, and you're disappointed because someone else is having a shot in the team, and if that player goes well, then if you return to injury, maybe you got your work cut out getting back in, etc. So definitely. But I missed one game. I missed the England game a week after France. But it's been nice because I haven't had to rush the rehab, in that aspect. If I was if everything had stayed as normal, then the rehab process usually is about 12 weeks for the syndesmosis injury, which I had. So we were looking really at pushing end of May, trying to get 1 or 2 league games in for the Blues. before the summer tour was scheduled to New Zealand. So I was hoping to get back fit, find a little bit of form in 2 games, and hopefully put my hat in the ring to go to the summer tour. So I had a chat with the physios just after surgery, and we knew that if I wanted to make that target, it was going to have to be an intense 12 weeks. We were going to have to really push it. So when you say that tunnel's been moved, 100%, because there wasn't a target day or date for us. You know what I mean? For me, and it was more like, today if it's feeling a little bit sore or you're feeling a bit niggly, I didn't have to push through any sort of pain or any stiffness or soreness. It was like, right, light day today, just do a few stretches on it and leave the heavy stuff for the day after. So for the ankle, it's been wonderful for the ankle.
And I suppose New Zealand's not the sort of place where you want to go and test out to see if you're fit enough.
No,
I mean, you want to be match fit well before that.
Especially if you're not 100% going out there, carrying, well, not so much carrying, everyone carries niggles, but like a serious injury that hasn't recovered 100%, then certainly playing against the world's best, you can be made to look a fool. So I'm glad in a way I've had this time just to sort it out properly. As for now, when I go back, I can hit the ground running, I'm in. Happy days.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you, pal. Take us back to the beginning, mate. So growing up down west, and how did you get into rugby? And I know you started off. Was it Clefley, Colleague Cigar, and then on to Clefley? How did that kind of come through?
I was in Stradi school in Clefley for on my secondary school, and then it was more the case to go to Colleague Cigar for the rugby, because I knew the colleges league was quite well like advertised. It was like televised sometimes on SOC. That's where a lot of like the regional selectors, as in under 18s regional now, because we're in college, used to come and watch games and stuff. And my first year in Scars under 18s, I wasn't playing that often. I actually didn't even make the squad to begin with. And then I got called in. So I was in the squad for like the second half of the season for the 18s. And then and I knew if I wanted to really push myself a bit and kick on, then College Cigar was probably the best place for that, for rugby wise. Totally honest with you, I think I would have done better academically if I'd stayed in school in sixth form, 100%, without a doubt. But the change for the 2 years in college, look, I had a hell of a laugh. It was absolutely brilliant. Absolute great group of boys in my class. I'd done sports science, and we had a great laugh. We probably had too much of a laugh in that sense, right? Because at times we probably took it a bit too far when we should have been listening a bit more or concentrating a bit more. You know what I mean?
Mate. I know exactly what you're on about, pal.
It was one of them times, and the age it was as well, where like everything was going on, and it was just like, well, work's on a back burner here. Like I'm rugby, boys, out, party, whatever. You know what I mean? And it was silly at times, but look, I'm glad I done it, and
it makes you the person you are,
100%. It was worth it, but I'm probably catching up on school on academic stuff now, when I could have had it done a few years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey mate, life's a living, pal. You live and learn, don't you? That's what exactly. That's what the experiences are there for. Colleague Cigar's a bit of a breeding ground. I spoke to who do we have on here? Luke Trahan. He went there, and obviously a few of the other boys we spoke to.
I was good friends with Luke's brother, David.
Yeah.
He was in Colleague Cigar with me. But he was doing A-level, and he was doing maths, science. He was bright. He comes from a really good academic family, doesn't he? Luke's a doctor. Is he training doctor?
Training doctor. Both of them play sevens. So
he was unbelievable at sevens. He remember he texted me once, just out of the blue. The Samurai, which is like a big sevens, needed a player for the tournament in Allianz Park it was in, you know, where
Okay.
Sargent play.
Yeah,
They
the
were
London Rocks one or something, is it?
that's it. They were playing there, and he recommended me, and me, Luke, and Di, we all played for the Samurai over the weekend up there. That was great. That was a good laugh.
Class. Yeah.
Really good.
Did you play much sevens then?
We won Rosslyn Park with Cogsgar.
Okay, that's a big one.
We won that in 2013, I think. So that's obviously like a massive tournament, isn't it, for school
Huge.
across England and Wales. So we won that, which was class. To be honest, it's too much. It's too hard work for me. It looks savage, to be fair. I know the fitness that the 15s boys do is tough.
Yeah.
I just think there's probably a lot more distance covering in sevens or what it would be in 15s, and not that I don't mind that work, because I do, like, I'm up for, you know, having a tough session with the boys and stuff, because it does bring you together.
Yeah.
But no, I've never really been that taken to sevens, if I'm totally honest with you. I think I like the physical side of 15s as well, like just a bit more up a jump and just get stuck in, head down, arse up, run hard. Like I think there isn't that much of it in sevens. So
no, I know what you mean, mate.
What
obviously you played for Athletic, and then you obviously had a game or two for the Scarlets. What happened with that, pal? And obviously not sticking with the Scarlets and moving on to Worcester, because you played through the Wales age groups as well, hadn't you?
Yeah. It was a surprise for me. To be honest with you, I think I had a tidy season with the under-20s. And we were the first under-20s team to beat England. We beat them up in Colwyn Bay. Done all right as well, like, throughout the campaign. At the time, we were playing for Llanelli RFC.
Yeah.
You know, the same pro clubs that the younger boys sort of feed into the night for the weekend.
Yeah.
We weren't doing too great. I think we're going through a bit of a changing period where, you know, I think a lot of the pro boys who always used to come down into Llanelli, there wasn't as much coming down. We were probably relying on the club boys too much, and then it was difficult. It was a difficult season. I wasn't playing my best rugby, so, but I still thought that, you know, I'd showed my worth for the 20s, and I still thought I was good enough and should have got an opportunity to have a go in the first team. You know, even if they give me a 12-month deal, of course I would have signed it there and then, without a doubt. So yeah, when I walked into the meetings, it's like one of them days in the car. Well, when I was there, I don't know how they do it now, but like they set a day, I think it was like in January or February, and they say, right, all the boys in the academy come in, and they'll have like their review then, sort of thing, and they'll say, right, this is how we think you're doing. This is what is probably going to happen to you next year. Like, you go up into the senior squad, have a development contract, or you'll have one more year in the academy and then one development, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think the year before in the academy, I was speaking to them, and they were saying, look, you know, you're going well, keep progressing like you are, but one more year in the academy, and then you'll go up into the development. And, you know, to me, I was like, oh, great. So whether or not, subconsciously, I was just like, oh, look, I don't need to work that hard, because they've already told me I'm going to have a development contract, sort of thing. And then that came back to haunt me in a way. And it was like, wow, so what do I do now, sort of thing. And well, we'll make other clubs aware that you're available. That was the words. And I was like, okay. So I was still sort of like taking it in. I was like, so, you know, you loaning me out, or on you? And then, you know, later on in the conversation, then they made it pretty clear that, no, at the end of this year, like, I'm no longer associated with the club. Like, I'm done. I'm no longer in the academy or whatever. So, it was a weird situation, because I didn't really know too much about the market of rugby and how things work like that. And yeah, like I was this close, literally this close to just saying, right, I'm just gonna get a job and play semi-pro like that, and that was that, like this close. And then within a space of like 3-4 days, Worcester said, "Oh, look, we see something in you that we quite like. If you're interested, come up, have a look, and we could offer you a deal in the academy." And I was like, "Okay." I just got with my girlfriend Georgia, so that was quite new. And then obviously I had to move all the way up to Worcester. I say all the way up; it's about an hour 50, 2 hours away, but still. You know what I mean? So I was like, right, okay. So we had a chat, and if I wanted to stay professional, that was the only option in the world. The only option. So I was like, right, okay, this is it. I have to do it now. It's now or never sort of thing. And well, thank God I took it, innit?
Well, mate, you've forged out your own career down there. I suppose part of me, knowing some of the lads, and obviously then it's difficult. I sit on the fan side watching, but also you hear
what
things. So you can't take one side or the other sometimes. But I almost feel like sometimes getting out of that bubble of Wales and going to play elsewhere, maybe a bit more under the radar, actually has been beneficial for some players. And you're out of that goldfish bowl and you can just go and forge your own career. And you've gone the long way around coming back to Wales and getting your place in the team. But if anything, I'd say, it's made you the player that you are and given you those experiences and life experiences moving away, which you may not have got if you'd have stayed at the Scarlets or even signed for Ospreys or whoever else, It
was a blessing in disguise, I think, to answer. Definitely. I think with the academies in Wales, when I was in the academy, I don't know how they do it now. Well, the academy was separate to the first team, so they would their schedule would run completely different. So there'd be no crossover. So they'd have gym and weights and whatever they do, and then usually they have gym, bit of skills, and then on a Tuesday and a Thursday in the evenings, then they would do their training with like semi-pro teams like Llanelli, Llandovery or whatever. But in England, it's totally different. So if you signed an academy contract in England, your schedule is exactly the same as what the top players in the first team are on. You know what I mean? You do exactly the same work. So I think being around players like that even just being around them is good, is beneficial. So, I would 100% recommend integrating the academies in Wales into the first teams, because just learning, seeing how they work, seeing how they train, seeing what they do in gym, on the field, you learn things. You don't even realize it, but you do.
Just rubbing shoulders with them.
Yeah, literally. And if you're out on the training field, they're there to talk to you. You know what I mean? You can give you guidance on things, ask questions, and that was massive for me. Definitely, I thought that was great. And then just your standards just automatically rise, because when you thrust into a session, you're like, right, quick, Josh, you're on. So I'm on. And then because I'm in the academy, you boys don't get that many reps compared to what the first team boys. So when you're in, you got to make it count. So it's one of them where like, right, I have to do well now because I'm only going to get 2 reps in this 6 rep session, for example, right? So you have to make sure that you're hitting your straps straight away. So things like that definitely were beneficial for me. And I think, Worcester, we were really blessed with facilities as well. Like, they got unbelievable facilities up there. So some of the best I've ever seen.
Is it? I've never been up there. I've been to quite a few of the clubs, but I've never been to Worcester.
Incredible. It's unbelievable, the stuff they've got. They got an indoor barn, running track, sand pit, cryotherapy, sauna, cold tubs, hot tubs, literally state-of-the-art gym, like 10 racks, and it's all like, have you seen how they do in NFL in the colleges? It's all like line, it's like that. It's crazy. The set they got there. So that obviously helped, just having an unbelievable setup where you can just maximize your potential and
you're
stuff.
just motivated straight away then, aren't you, to try and make it improve. Like, what was Worcester like as a whole, as a culture, as a team? What the players, and obviously your journey from that academy contract into the first team, and what was that whole experience like?
Class. Absolutely loved it. I honestly cannot speak high enough of Worcester. It's an unbelievable place. Unbelievable setup as in the rugby club.
Yeah.
It's great. Like when I first joined, I think we went through a little bit of change with head coaches. So
Yeah.
we had Dean Ryan, obviously at the Dragons now.
Yeah.
He left, and then our our head coach at the time, Carl Hogg, who's now forwards coach at the Ospreys,
Yeah.
stepped up. And then we brought in Gary Gold, who was
ex-Bath.
Ex-Bath, yeah, now head coach at USA.
Yeah.
He came in for a little bit and then obviously left at USA. And then we brought in Alan Solomons, who's there now.
Yeah.
So since Alan Solomons has joined, I think he's brought a really good level of stability. He's made some really clever signings, with the resources he's got.
Yeah.
And I think he's worked terrifically well. I think he's brought in the right people to suit the culture.
Yeah.
Maybe his CV might look better, but meeting someone in person can change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It certainly can. So I think he's recruited well, as in coaching wise. Jockey's up there now for next year, the backs coach, because he was at the Ospreys last year. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's up there now, and Jonathan Thomas, who was obviously ex-Worcester captain, moved to Bristol to be a coach, and now he's moved back as a forwards coach to Worcester. So he's recruited good boys, local boys who know the area as well, because Jockey lives in Cheltenham, I believe, and he worked with Worcester Academy before he had the main job. So the boys know the club. Obviously, he might have changed a bit, but
they know the whole ethos then, don't they?
Exactly. They know the area. And what's really pleasing now is he's invested so much into the academy that when I was there, you'd see out of, let's just say we've got 10 boys in the academy, you might see 4 to 5 probably push into the first team, and the other 5 would be let go, just like I was at Scars. Now, they're putting so much emphasis on making these boys first team players and making sure that the whole club now is sort of built around the local boys, Worcester boys, that you see 7 to 8 boys go through. So it's great now. Yeah, it's class like that. So
that's brilliant.
As in Worcester, absolutely loved. Was it up there for 4 years? Yeah, 4 years. City was great, awesome city, and loads to do. Really, really nice as well, and everybody was nice, like friendly, never any issues. So yeah, if anybody thinking about going to Worcester, definitely go.
That's a recruitment video there, that is.
I'm going to sell it, right?
I said you'll be looking for a job after rugby. Go back now as an ambassador. What was the Gallagher like playing in that when you broke through and obviously scored a couple of tries down there? What was that like playing in there?
Yeah, it was good. It's a tough league, the Premiership. I'd say it's probably a bit more attritional to what the Pro 14 would be. Not that Pro 14 isn't physical, because it is. But I think there's a lot more emphasis on set piece, defence, line out more, etc. The boring stuff.
Yeah.
But it's important. It's important. So there's a bigger emphasis on that, I'd say, in the Premiership. There's a lot more, I want to say, pressure on teams because there's relegation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I first, one season at Worcester, we lost 7 games on the bounce, the first 7 games. And, just being in a team environment where, right, we know it's up against us now, and we know that, the effects of relegation would have on the club financially, tickets,
people's lives.
Yeah, literally people's lives. Boys, they'd have to cut the squad because the budget would come down. Boys lose, everything. So there is that much more pressure because of relegation. It is. But it's such a competitive league. Like every week is an absolute slog. Every week is an absolute slog.
Where did you enjoy playing and where did you hate playing?
Didn't enjoy Sale.
Cold and wet?
Yeah, always. It's inevitable that we go to Sale. It's cold and wet. And it's just like, it's a weird location if you've ever been to the AJ Bell.
I have once, a couple of years ago, I watched a Blues game up there. It was like an all-dayer and on the bus, and it's in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
It is. It's just like off the motorway, and it looks like a skip yard with a
Yeah.
on the side. So, look, I'd never won up there. That's one main reason. And it was always horrible when we went up there. I'm sure they do get some sun sometimes, but every time Worcester went up there, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And where did I enjoy playing? Well, until I went up to Welford Road quite recently with Blues, we had that European game.
Yeah.
I never lost there.
Okay.
So I played there 3 times and won 3 times in Welford Road. So that was a pretty good place for me to go and play. And plus, the first time I went there, like for a club game, it was absolutely bumping.
Who's that ringing you now?
Oh, I don't know. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you and hear you.
Why I can't see you for some reason?
Sorry, I can edit all that out.
Yeah, let me just try and get back on to see you. Hold on. There we go. Got it.
That's all right, don't worry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right, yeah. So obviously Leicester went well up there.
Yeah, Tigers. And for a club game, it was like 22,000 people there.
Yeah.
For the club, Welford Road, and it was class. So I loved, obviously, Six Ways was my home ground, and I had some class wins there as well. But yeah, Welford Road, 100% fantastic place to go and play. Sale, horrible place to go and play. If anyone's playing Sale, you got to niggle that week. 100%.
The old hamstrings gone, is it, in the warm up?
Hell no, we ain't going up there.
I love that.
Bristol as well, unbelievable track in Bristol.
Yeah, lovely down there.
Because it's a football pitch as well, isn't it? And it, class track, like it was fantastic stadium as well.
They're making some strides in the old transfers as well with
the players aside.
Radrada and Genge and a few others.
Radrada, where we had him in the World Cup, he's an handful.
Yeah.
Absolute handful.
They got P-Tau already.
P-Tau, $1 million man, like.
He's class.
Unbelievable. And they've signed, I've seen as well, they signed some rugby league wingers playing for Hull.
Oh,
Hull FC.
Yeah.
Seen they tweeted it? And he was like, check out that new signing or whatever. Clicked on it, and he had like his 3-4 minute highlight.
Not looking forward to them next year then.
No, but he was like a similar sort of style player to like Pietau, like class feet, strong, fast. So especially with the way they play as well, because they love to throw it around. If they can get it right, I wouldn't be surprised if they finish top 4 next year, honestly.
Yeah, they'll be going real well. Talk to me, obviously, slamming tries in for Worcester. You're in the Premiership. Were you player of the year in the team of the year? Or top try scorer of the season?
Yeah, I had top try scorer with 13.
Yeah.
And then I was in team of the year, team of the season. And then I was up for Land Rover Discovery of the year.
Oh, nice.
So if you're 23 and under, that's like the award that you get nominated for. So there was a few of us in that. I didn't win that. Who won that? I think it was Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith won
the 10.
Yeah, for Quins. Yeah, so he was on fire that year, to be fair to him.
Yeah, class.
And he was like, I think he was only like 18 or 19 as well. So for him to do it that young. And then, but the class thing about that is apparently, there's no proof of it, but obviously it's Land Rover Discovery of the Year. You get a Landy for a year. Apparently.
I have to tweet him now and ask.
So that would have been nice to win that, of course. Obviously,
you're right to it. Especially travelling back and forth if you're visiting family back in Wales.
Well, yeah, I would just run the miles up on that.
Class. Talk to me about the Wales career then, pal. Obviously going well for Worcester, get a call up. They obviously had the 60 cap rule and playing in Wales and all the politics, I suppose, that comes with that. But you were affected by that.
It was a little bit. tricky at the beginning. The Six Nations, when the debut, 2018 it was.
2018, yeah.
Scotland, first game, and we smashed them in the stadium. Couldn't have had a better start, really.
Yeah.
Just absolutely smashing Scotland. Everyone played well. Brilliant. Next week, England, totally different. Absolutely hammering down the rain. Obviously, Wales, England. My second cap, and I was a bit like a rabbit in the headlights. To be honest with you, it was. I didn't have my best of games, but it was a learning experience for me that I needed it to move on. And then the summer tour, you're on about the politics. So I was picked to go. I was like, great. And then I had a phone call off the Worcester director of rugby, Alan Solomon, saying, look, mate, there might be a little bit of complication with you going on a summer tour. So I was like, why? What's that like? And he was like, with the first game against South Africa, because they played in Washington.
Yeah.
Look, the first game is outside of the international window. They have windows apparently.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, our season is finished. Like, Worcester doesn't have any more games. You know what I mean? It's the off season. And he was like, yeah, but because you play in England and you're not, signed for a region, then PRLs, there's some rules to do with them that
they can fine them and stuff, can't they?
Yeah, it's like an 80k fine or something.
Yeah, I think, did George North have it before?
Tobes had one before as well with Bath, I think. Obviously, if you come to an agreement with the club, and the club are like, go, we'll pay it, then brilliant, isn't it? But obviously, Worcester didn't want to dish out 80k for me just going for a week in Washington, which is understandable. So, I was gutted because I just got another chance after Six Nations. I thought, great, another chance out there now.
Yeah.
And then that got cut short. So that was over. I was like, well, I'm done now. I was gutted. I just had to look forward to pre-season with Worcester.
Yeah.
And then I can remember sitting in Nando's with my cousin, and then my phone went, and it was Thumper, Alan Phillips, the team manager. And my good mate Steph, obviously had an injury, didn't he, in the game against South Africa?
Yeah.
And he's on the phone, and he was like, Josh, Steph's injured. We need you out there. Are you up for it? I was like, yes,
100%.
Yeah. I'm up for it. And he was like, right, playing tomorrow. So I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you're flying to Argentina. You're flying to Santa Fe tomorrow from Heathrow. I'll send you all the details, wherever. So literally, I had to just go home, pack a bag, get ready, and then the shuttle driver guy who works in the Vale picked me up all the way to Heathrow in the hotel, and then on a flight the next day. And within 2 days, I was from sitting in Nando's with my cousin. I was in Santa Fe, in Argentina.
That's
and
mad, isn't it?
It all happened quite quick, so I didn't have too much time to think about it. And
what sort of player are you in that respect? With your first cap and like I said, pressure, obviously, and emotion. Do you cry through the anthem, or what sort of player are you in that regard? What sort of person?
Yeah, I think I'm quite an emotional player. Not so much crying or welling up in the anthem, but I think I just like to sort of wear my heart on my sleeve, sort of thing. Just leave it all out there, sort of style. To be honest with you, I've never cried in the anthem. I did come close in my first cap. I think there was a little clip of me going down.
Bottom lips going
almost going, but obviously first cap's it's a bit different now, isn't it? No, I just playing in the stadium in Cardiff. It's unbelievable. It's the best feeling in the world, and I don't care if anybody tries to dish it, hide it or play it down to be cool. They definitely think it's the best in the world as well, without a shadow of a doubt. I spoke to Donica Callahan, was in Worcester with me.
Yeah.
And he told me that this one is the best he's ever played in.
I'm English for my sins, born in Plymouth, and
I know.
I think it's easily the best. I've been fortunate to go to stadiums and watch New Zealand, South Africa in New Zealand, and I've watched games all over the world.
Yeah.
And Wales especially versus England, but Wales at home with the roof closed for me is the best atmosphere, best anthem, and you can't help but just get goosebumps and your heart's racing. So I can't imagine what it's like as a player to rein all that in and just block out and go, right, I need to catch his first ball now.
Yeah. It's brilliant. To be fair, it's on the anthem. When we played in Murrayfield, that was pretty good.
Yeah, Scotland.
They have the someone on the roof on the bagpipes.
Oh, the bagpipe, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So they have someone on the roof on the stadium on the bagpipes, and then when like a part of the anthem finishes, like all the music cuts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then it's just like all the fans are singing. That's quality. That's class. Honestly, that's class. Like I was standing there, obviously just sang ours with the away team, and then we're waiting for Scotland to finish, and like we're all in the line, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's a good anthem, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Flower of Scotland. I do enjoy it, to be fair.
Yeah.
There's the French one as well. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good as well. Well, so obviously you went through the Six Nations 2018. 2019 then, Grand Slam. So what are you, a year, less than 2 years into your international career, and you got a Grand Slam on the board already? How was that different to the year before?
Involved in every game, of course. It was nice.
Yeah.
Oh, we had the autumn, didn't we, in between the summer tour, and I played against Australia and South Africa in them 2 autumn games, because the first game against Scotland was outside the international window, so I couldn't play out as well. So I played South Africa and Australia, which are the 2 biggies, like of the autumn. Right? Yeah. So I started them both, went quite well. So I was putting myself in a tidy position then to get selected for the Six Nations after that. And then it was a bit funny because I'd done my hamstring in December and I was out for about 5 weeks. So my first game for 5 weeks was France away in the Six Nations.
I was there, mate.
Yeah, I hadn't played in 5 weeks. So I knew that the coaches were a little bit apprehensive of giving me a shot because 1, I hadn't played in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
2, massive game. 3, I hadn't had that much international experience, really.
Yeah.
So, look, for them to go on have a start was class for me, and that's what gave me loads of confidence. And like I knew that they must have seen something or trusted me enough just to go, you haven't played for 5 weeks, but still go on, you have a start.
Yeah. Obviously, you got some money in the bank in terms of the tries you had scored and the meters you'd gained and that already.
Yeah, probably had a little bit of credit from the previous campaigns as well, like. But like they always say when you leave a campaign, it's important that you go and play well for your club, innit? To make sure that you keep your standards up and stuff. So to not have 5 weeks, and I know I was in touch with the coaches a lot, and this is where it also becomes tricky now for being a Welsh qualified playing in England.
Yeah,
I haven't played in 5 weeks, and I was speaking to the coaches, and they were like, "Look, is there any way you can get a half or something for Worcester?" It was like a weekend before we went into camp.
Yeah.
Like, right, okay. So I was messaging Solly and I was saying, look, is there any chance I could be involved in this weekend? It was a European game. It was.
Okay.
And he was like, look, mate, I know you're technically fit now to play, but because of EQP, so English qualified players, if English team fields a certain percentage of EQP players over the year, they get funding.
Yeah, okay.
So the higher percentage of English qualified players you field, the more funding you get.
Yeah.
And I think the funding is actually quite substantial, like 800k is like for like the maximum percentage. So it's a lot of money, right?
Yeah, of course.
So he was like, look, I'd absolutely love to put you in the team, but for financial reasons, I need EQP players playing, we can get the funding, etc. So
it's mad all that comes into it.
It's so many different politics and things like that. Like with EQP, like I know when I first started playing in Worcester, I was told this: you have to play this much better than an EQP player if you want to get picked. You know what I mean? Even if I'm this much better than him, it's not happening because he's English qualified and because I wasn't. So I knew I had to be that extra more than any other player if I wanted to get picked, basically. So
I suppose that gives you that motivation, obviously, to just not have an off day and to improve those little 1%ers.
Unless you're obviously like a big overseas marquee signing,
you
know, signing from New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, whatever.
It's outside the salary cap then.
Yeah, well, that's it then. You can either be a marquee out the salary cap, or if you're in the salary cap, they're not going to bring you over on good cash and be like, oh, we can't play you this week because you're not UQP, you know what I mean? Like, money for nothing, really. So when it was like an academy youngster like myself who was an UQP, you can definitely find it difficult in England with politics like that. Yeah, that is difficult.
Yeah, so I suppose this season especially, you know, look at Saracens and stuff, you know, I think all the politics have started to come out and people are actually starting to get a bit annoyed about it all now and just want one set of rules that are open for everyone and everyone can just get on with the game then because that's what they're there for.
Sarri's like the class team, innit? Like,
yeah.
But you just look as a fan, look in and you think, how can they afford this team?
yeah. You know, but then as a player, you're never going to, you know, it's interesting. I spoke to a few of them and you're never going to turn it down, are you?
No, definitely not. And I don't blame the players.
Nah.
Not one bit. I don't blame them. But, you know, it was like, I think the investigation that went on probably could have happened a few years before, maybe a season or two before with just looking at the team and things. But look, they got found out and I know some of the boys now, they've had to leave and they go to the club, boys going on loan, so they've had to probably ship out a few different boys here and there, so probably hasn't been ideal, but look, I'm not taking anything away from them because a mental team and an unbelievable side.
And the players, obviously, quality players, quality operators, whether they are playing there or they have to go on loan or whatever for for a season. What's obviously off the back of the Grand Slam and you got the World Cup, it was a bit of a mental year for you. 2019. Talk to me about that. How did you find that transition, actually, just before we go into that, from going from Gallagher Prem to international rugby? Because you've packed a lot into a short space of time in terms of international, in terms of Six Nations, tours, World Cup. How physically did you find that transition fairly easy? Because you like a bit of niggle out on the pitch, and you enjoy a bit of contact. You know, you go looking for it. Did you find that transition easy to step up, even if you were still learning in terms of overall rugby?
It was tough at the beginning, definitely. I think what also sometimes didn't help, right, was, you know, in fallow weeks in the Six Nations, because I was playing in England, you have to go back to your club, and there was fixtures. So, you know, boys who are involved in the 5 Six Nations games, then they got 2 weeks of no games in between rest. But like, you know, down weeks where they're not playing on the weekends or lighter training weeks or 3-day weeks, whatever. But I'd go back and I'd have a fixture. So I'd play 2. So for in the 2019 now in the Grand Slam, I played France, Italy, back to Worcester, played Harlequins, England, injured when I went back to Worcester injured for Newcastle away.
The old calf has gone.
Newcastle away. I was carrying a hammy niggle. And then back then for Scotland and Ireland. So if I hadn't picked up that groin hammy in the England game, then I would have gone 6 games. No, 7 games, is it?
7 games.
7 games consecutively, 5 internationals, 2 club games every weekend for 7.
That's tough. It's tough on the body, isn't it?
That's a slog. That is a slog. I tell you what's also a slog is going from Wales, different plays, calls, system, anything, back into Worcester, and then you just got to change completely, right? I'm Worcester now, you know what I mean? And in that game against Harlequins, I messed up twice because I wasn't in the Worcester system. I
Because
did
you've been
something
doing
that was
great for 3-4 weeks.
I done something that
Sort of,
Wales do that Worcester didn't.
yeah.
Right. It didn't cost us that bad. Like I wasn't giving away stupid tries, but I was half a second slower than what I should have been, or I was late, late closing on the edge, or something like that. But because it was like, subconsciously, no, I'm playing for Wales, but no, I'm not. Like, I'm playing for Worcester.
Yeah.
That's hard. And I speak to boys who've done it before, and it is difficult. Like, it is really difficult going like that all the time.
And I suppose the coach, I don't know, but I suppose the coaches of the club teams, they, to an extent, really only care about the club team is their priority. They obviously want you to go well internationally because it reflects well on the club and all that sort of stuff and the PR that comes with it. But day to day, it's, are you doing your job for the club team?
Well, they're the ones paying me at the end of the day, and I'm employed by them, really.
Yeah.
So it was like, if he's available, we're going to pick him. You know what I mean? Whether or not he's played 2 international games and he's got one the following weekend, he wasn't, his job wasn't making sure Wales win the Six Nations. His job was to stay in the Premiership, which was the scenario at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like, are you fit? Yeah. Okay. See you Monday.
I think it's a whole nother conversation for another time. And obviously you look at France and then the Islanders, for example, who end up going to France and then all of a sudden stop playing international rugby because they're employed by whatever team it might be, and they, whether they pay them to not play international, whatever, I don't know. But that's
the value for sure, right? If I was to say now, right, I'm retiring from international rugby and I wanted to go and play in England, I'd get paid more.
Yeah.
They'd offer me a bigger salary because they knew they'd have me every game, every session. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the same quality of player that is playing international, but I'm not. I've given that up. But I'm just yours. So your salary, your value would go up in that in that aspect. In some cases, clubs obviously want big international players playing for their team, which is fine, which a lot of teams do. But sometimes that if you give up your international commitments, a team would increase your salary, would say, right, we'll pay you more now because we're not losing you for any period of time. Because it does happen. It does happen with us. We had Tio at Worcester. He was one of our marquee boys, obviously British Lion. He was one of our main players. But you go away with England, play, come back, and he'd have niggles, he'd have injuries.
Rest,
So the club have this marquee player, pay him all this money, but get very little from him just because he's going off playing international, coming back, because of the demands of international rugby, especially being a 12, like the sort of player he was. He was injured, and it wasn't his fault. It was just the way it was.
Yeah, he's going well in the NRL. Seen that? I know you've said you watched a bit of the NRL.
Broncos, yeah.
You spoke to him?
I did message him when I seen he announced. I said, "Can you put a good word in for me, pal?"
Well, do you know what? I was watching some of your highlights earlier, and there was you seem to collect a lot of kick chases. So obviously the one against England, and so fuck you for that. And then a couple of others. I think it was a Worcester one I seen where it was a chip over the top, and you've collected that and scored. And it's very NRL-like in the way that you finish a lot of your tries. The Fiji, is it, for the hat-trick try, where you dive over in the corner and there's 2 players? I think Fox gets the flap out the back, and then and then out the Catflap. That's very NRL-like, mate. Would you consider that? Like, not now, obviously, happy at the Blues, going well, but later on down the line?
I have this thought quite a lot, really. Even though I've only just turned 25, but there's so many things. Rugby's a short career, isn't it? When you look at it. There's so many things I'd love to do while being able to play rugby. So, I absolutely love Japan when I went to Japan for the World Cup. So, later on, Japan would definitely be an option for myself. I love America as like a holiday destination. It's a great place. So if that what's the league called?
National Rugby League or whatever. I know what you mean.
you know what I'm on about, don't you?
San Diego
Yeah,
just signed
San
Rob Shaw.
Diego,
Yeah,
Seattle, and all that, and all
New
the
York.
New York United and stuff. So that's quite sort of advertising to me. Like I quite fancy that, going over to America, doing that. Obviously, everybody yaps on France. You know what I mean? We can live by the beach, Montpellier, Toulon, somewhere like that. Of course, maybe in the latter years. But then I also really like rugby league. So
Yeah.
I've spoke about, I've had conversations with people about potentially towards the end maybe having a dabble in Super League. I don't know.
Class. Fair play to you.
So it's difficult because you want to give as much as you can to Wales and the Blues.
Yeah.
Where I'm at now and where I hope I'm at for a good number of years.
Yeah.
But when it sort of comes to, right, I need to think about, do I want to do all these things because I haven't got that much time left? And it's going to come a time where I need to make that decision. But like I said, all them places are definitely something that I would 100% consider without a shadow of doubt.
I think you look at, I'm good mates with Dom Day. I don't know if you know Dom, but look at, Scarlet's Bath and then Japan, Super Rugby. Yeah, Melbourne Rebels. He out there for a year, absolutely loved it. And then, come back, Saracens.
He went to America, did he?
I think, I don't know the details, but I think he signed or was close to signing for San Diego and had a knee issue, so didn't end up going. But that's the thing with rugby. Like, I love it at the Blues, and hopefully you're there for years. But rugby in general is a short career, and once you're kind of gone from the game, unless you are a Wilkinson, a Dan Carter, or you go down that coaching route, it can soon forget you. And I think people as fans, we forget that actually it's your job. And in my career, I work for a radio station. Is that what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? I don't know. But if an opportunity come up for, Adidas or Nike or Red Bull or whoever, I would always look at that 100%. Because it's a career move and it's a lifestyle choice and it's other things away from, I love this team and I love working for Capitals. But
why
there's others.
People I know yap on about, he shouldn't have left. Where's the loyalty? Well, I never ever criticize any player for leaving, whether he's been here 5 years or 15 years or 1 year, right? Because like all of us, our career only lasts a certain amount of times. Some longer than others because of it, whatever. But there's loads of opportunities within rugby to do awesome things, like go and live in Sydney for a year. You know what I mean? If you've never been, I've never been, but people say it's an awesome place to live.
Class, like Manly. Oh my God. Unbelievable.
You know what I mean? Just
unbelievable.
Amazing time playing good rugby, living in a class place, lovely lifestyle for a year. Amazing, wasn't it? Like Japan, I was there for 8 weeks. Loved the way the place was run. It was quite fast paced, like loads of things going on, all stacked up, different like stories of shops, lights and all. I loved it, and to do that for a year I think would be amazing as well. So that's why I think it's so important that you definitely consider these things, because I don't want to be sitting here at 36 retired and thinking, oh, you know what, I really, really am gutted I didn't do that, or I'm really myself. I didn't even try. You know what I mean? I didn't bother. So it's tough because it's a balancing act. Like I just
of course it is.
Making sure you maximize your potential with the club you're at now and not walking away from international rugby too soon and wanting to give it your all. But then you've got to find time as well to go and do all these amazing things that are on offer.
Yeah, of course it is. Life's to live, mate. What's how did the Blues come about then? Because if they've been going well for a couple of years, obviously with Bilbao and a lot of good, promising youngsters coming through there, and then some experienced players as well. How did that come about, and how are you finding it at the Blues?
So when I knew my contract was up, the 60 cap rule, it was never changing for the time I was at Worcester. So it was Worcester, that's it, or come back and be in the squad. So it was a no-brainer for me at that time.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer. Like I wanted to carry on trying to play for Wales, so it was stupid not to. Just a few conversations with the region. Spoke to them all as you would. There's only 4 of them, innit? So,
Yeah.
it's not as if you got like 12 clubs like in England after this week. There's only 4, so you have a chat with them all. But it's more from being in the Wales camp. Boys similar to my age, who I played 18s, 20s with, who were like I hang around with. Thomas, Dylan, Seb, Navs is with us. Ellis went out, obviously when he's not in third. Jared, all them boys, Blues boys. So I just found myself mixing with them more than anybody else.
Yeah.
So it just made sense to me that I'm going to see these boys on the regular. We get on well. Played with them majority of like my age grade.
Yeah.
Good boys, like easy. And then just, that was it. Like I just said, right, Blues it is. That was that.
That's it, bro.
That was literally, that was my thinking. And with the Arms Park as well, I just liked the location of the Arms Park. Maybe a weird thing to like, but I just liked it was like city centre.
Yeah.
Changing rooms, shirts, jeans, shoes, town. it was like
straight out for a pint.
You know what I mean? It was just made sense to me. So I was like it's good. Plus we play some nice rugby. Like, you know, we always try and play rugby in the nice in the right way.
Yeah.
And move a ball about a bit. Obviously had a conversation with Harlem as well. He was obviously mixing with us.
Yeah.
You know, sort of told him what my plans were. He told me what his plans were, and we were like, well, you know, the back division is looking quite good, yeah. So I was like, yeah, let's get it done. So yeah, it was really quick as well. Like I got it done super early.
Yeah.
And it was just buried. So they knew where they were at. Like the clubs knew where they were at. Blues knew they were getting me. I knew I was going.
Yeah.
It was quick, easy, and I'm so glad I done it.
Seems a good. I always speak to the lads. I spoke to Ellis the other day. Seems good culture down there. You know, you got some of your older heads like Nick Williams and that, and then obviously a load of youngsters like yourselves. You know, under 25 coming through, but all local lads to the region, and you can see that they play for the shirt as well. It's great atmosphere. You look at the derbies at Christmas.
Yeah, class, isn't it?
Absolutely packed down there. Yeah, so fair play to you, mate. What's the future for you then? You know, do you ever, a couple of things, do you ever allow yourself to look too far ahead? So, you know, like Lions and stuff like that? Or are you very much, right, next campaign is finishing off the season, then next campaign is if there's a Wales, and then the next campaign, how do you look at it?
No, I'm more live in the present sort of thing. Like I don't try and think too much about what's going to happen 4 months away, never mind a year. Obviously, I'm quite aware of what is around the corner. I'm aware of what's coming up. And of course, sometimes it does slide into your head. You know what I mean? But my priority, as soon as I done my ankle, was I just got to get back better. Obviously, I'm not going to be a better player first game back because it's going to take a couple of games to get yourself back. But like I come back in better nick, you know. I mean, fitter, stronger, faster, you know, all that shit that they're going about. So that was my main focus, and then obviously with COVID now and the total lockdown, it's I've just sort of just sunk into everything and just like mulled for a little bit and not stressed about too much. Like, I haven't done weights today. Like I haven't worried about it too much. You know what I mean? Because of the period of time that we've been off for. You know what I mean? And now I know when we return, we've got 8 weeks to sort ourselves out. That's plenty of time. You know. Yeah. So no, I don't think about it too much. But I am like I said, I'm very aware of what is coming up and. Imagine going on that trip. That'll be good, wouldn't it?
Oh, brilliant! I've not done Alliance. I've done the 2000. I don't know. We'll see. I would. I don't know if I'd be allowed.
Have you been to South Africa?
No, I've not been to South Africa. I did New Zealand. My family live in New Zealand, so I did the 2011 World Cup and did all the group games and had tickets off for boys and did that, and that was phenomenal. And then I did Australia. I've been to Australia on holiday for 2 weeks. So as a country, my sister lives in Melbourne, so I've been out there and loved that. So South Africa for me is the one that I would love to do.
Africa. Done it with school. We went on a school trip to Africa.
Class.
And Wales under 18s do they do like an annual trip out there. But with the school one, that's when we were out there like all sightseeing. So we done like sunrise, sundowns, safaris, which are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Lions literally 3 meters away from you in the truck.
Class.
Seen giraffes mating, which was mental. And like the not the poacher, like what they call them, the gamekeepers.
Gamekeepers, the reserve keepers, yeah.
He was driving out the truck, and he pulled up, and like we could see it was about 300-400 meters away, like these giraffes. And he was like, look, this is extremely rare. Like, you never, ever really catch giraffes mating. Like, everyone get their phones out, film it. And because you're never going to get, footage like this again. So it's like 20 people standing up in this truck trying to get over each other, trying to film these giraffes mating. And there was a couple of us with the 2 school teachers, and then there was like a family right in the front of the truck.
Oh yeah.
And, the father was saying to the boy, he was like, "Look, the giraffes are mating," and he was like, "Why has he got 5 legs?" And he's like, "Oh no, that's not his leg." And he was explaining to him there, and that's his penis, like. He was taken back by how big it was.
He's learned about the birds and the bees on a safari holiday.
The boy must have been about 9, 8, 9. But
that is absolutely class.
It was mental. So that was mad. And obviously, hippos, I didn't realise hippos are more, they're very dangerous, very protective over their young hippos.
Okay.
So anything that comes over the side of the, what they live in, ponds, lakes, river, whatever.
Reservoir,
anything. Anything that comes over, if they've got young at the bottom, they pull them in. They just whack them and pull them in. So we weren't allowed to go anywhere near that because they're very dangerous, because they had babies with them. They had babies with them. So they were there. We've seen, like, what do they say? The big 5 is what they say, isn't it? Like when you go on safari.
Animals, elephant,
lion,
giraffe,
rhino, maybe. But yeah, the elephants were wicked. But we obviously can't get too close to elephants. But the elephants were, it's crazy. TV and, watching them documentaries about them, wildlife is amazing, but it doesn't do it justice until you see it in person.
Yeah.
In front of you. And just the size of them is incredible. It's massive animals.
On my bucket list, mate. If I can afford it, I will. I'll try and get out there.
I think the trips to Garci, they are quite spenny, aren't they?
Yes, you're looking at even Rodri Manning at the Blues has got works. I think he's got a company, like a touring company for it, and I think you're looking at so something like that, and you're looking at 5-6 grand all in, and like value for money is brilliant.
I'm sure.
Unbelievable hotels, food, nights that are organised with all the fans, and obviously, loads of us know loads of you, so I'm sure we'd catch up and all the other stuff, right? But it's still, if I'm trying to say, for a house, do I spend 6 grand on that? Mrs. would probably leave me, and I'd have to start again. So
you just had a new gaff now, new.
Yeah, so
I have to think about.
It's on the bucket list, mate. If not, definitely Australia 4 years after that would definitely be there. Used to be around 29, still be kicking about.
No, I'll be in Super League then, mate.
You be tearing up the NRL.
No, I told you that.
Class.
No, the next one. Well, you want about the World Cup?
Well, next Lions, isn't it? Next Lions then would be 2024. What are we now? 21 next year, 2025.
2025. So it's,
That'd be Australia.
Yeah, so I'd be 30. Yeah, 29, 30. 29 going on 30.
Yeah. So maybe catch you out there, pal. Well, I'll remember this if we get out there. One last thing, mate, I want to talk about just quickly. I'll try and speak to everyone about it. So, in terms of how you've dealt with, you celebrate the highs and you seem like someone who has you enjoy himself and have a good time. But how do you deal with the lows, and in particular things like setbacks around injury, but more so maybe around social media? And do you get much trolling? Again, Wales is that little bubble of Twitter followers that just want to hammer the boys no matter fucking what they do. And do you get much of that? And how do you deal with it?
We have certain ways. I think people have different ways of dealing with things. We got a great psychologist that works with the union and Wales, Dale. He's brilliant, and I know he does a lot of profiling with a lot of the players. Obviously totally confidential. Any issues you want to bring up with him, and he talks a lot about your past and youngsters, anything happened, and he puts things together to see why you've made these decisions and why you feel these ways. So it was I've had a session with him, and it was really helpful, and it makes you understand things a little bit more. With far as trolling, look, I've had abuse unbelievable amounts of times, and I'd love, if I was a rugby player, I would be effing and blinding on calling these people out, putting my number in, telling them, come knock this door if you got a problem. I would, but with the situation we're in, as professional rugby players, you just can't do that sort of thing. You know what I mean? You can't do it. It just gives the club you're associated with a bad rep. And then obviously if you're playing for Wales, then it looks bad on the union then, you know what I mean? One of your players is going out saying, oh, come knock this door, but I'm going to sort you right out, you know what I mean? You just can't say that.
No, you can't. How do you stay motivated though, if ever you are going through a bit of a downtime?
It is hard. After the England game, remember I played rubbish. And I knew, like most top players, you don't need to tell them what you've done wrong, and you don't need to tell them you've had a shit game, because they know. But it's just part of it. Like coaches will go through your mistakes, and it's painful watching it again, because it is. But when after that, I had people saying, nah, he ain't good enough. He's had his shot. You know what I mean? He's way off it. He was lost in the game, give away the try for too far a position for Johnny May's kick. He was totally truthful in what he was saying. But it just hurts you, when you read it.
It's pride, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it was difficult, because I went back to Worcester, and obviously I didn't play again at Six Nations, and I was like, oh, well, if they're saying that, the coaches definitely must think that, you know what I mean? But I soon realised that, the only opinion that matters is the people who are going to select you, and sort of leave that to one side. I think it becomes a lot easier. And that's sort of what I tell myself. If somebody ever, not often mind, I don't get bad comments or tweets or Instagram posts often, to be honest with you, but I have had them, and I still do get one or two. But because I'm better at dealing with it, the fact of, well, you're not the one who are going to select me on the weekend, or if you say I played rubbish, then that doesn't mean I'm not going to have another chance. You know what I mean? So that's how I've sort of dealt with it. But it is certainly tough. And I think the hardest thing, talking on this subject about mental health and being cope with things like this, is retirement. It's it's scary for me now thinking of it. You know what I mean? Like we all laugh and joke about it now with the boys and whatever. Like, oh, I'd be on the tools now, but you know what I mean? Or,
Yeah.
we laugh about it now because we're in a privileged situation, and will be hopefully for the next 9, 10 years maybe.
Yeah.
But there'll come a day where the money stops. You know what I mean? And then you have to live a real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to go out and work and do something that's going to be able to feed myself, probably my family by then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is scary. And as much as people think, rugby player, you earn enough money for the rest of his life. Nah, not many of us do.
Yeah.
Only, like you mentioned, Dan Carter, Johnny,
Gitto, people like that.
These guys, because of their profile and how long they've played still going, and how well they've done in their career, these guys will probably be okay with other things like, I'm sure, sponsorship, endorsements, coaching. Everybody would kill to have them as a coach.
Yeah.
Would be okay. But for, your average Joe, maybe international to club player, we have to go and get a job. We have to go and work, So I've just spoke to the Vale of Glamorgan College recently through the WRPA with Phil, who's now Blues PDM. And now I'm in January, because of the delay with the coronavirus, I'm going to start my carpentry. So
class.
It quite interests me, carpentry. It definitely does. My missus's uncle is a carpenter, really good one as well.
Yeah.
And I see the work he does in his house, even because he had a house. He'd done loads of work to his own house.
Yeah.
He's always busy out working, and he makes relatively good money. And the stuff he does is just, it's quite satisfying when you do something and you're really happy with it at the end, or a customer says, look, that's unbelievable. You know what I mean? And the way how carpentry works interests me. So I think, well, why not have a go at this?
My mum always said to me, if you're not going to go to university, or even if when I was younger, I wanted to play football, then rugby, and then I was shit at all. But she always said, don't leave school either without qualifications or at least a trade, because you'll always be able to use that trade no matter what you do in life. And it's interesting now, you said about carpentry. Obviously moved house this week. I picked up 15 pallets, and I'm trying to make a pallet sofa at the moment, mate. Sanding them and then painting them, preserving them. It's taking fucking ages.
Yeah, it does take ages, yeah.
So fair play to you, pal. What's that?
Fair play doing that too on your own. That's a good slog.
Well, yeah, just took a week off work, and just, it's like you said earlier, in lockdown, there's only so many times you can watch Netflix or go for a walk and 100%. Whatever. So it's about trying to keep the mind active as well as the body,
So yeah, our carpentry, I'm get stuck into that. Like, I won't bore you with like the details of like the qualifications you have to do and things, but like stage 1 is basically like a taste of 6 months, where you get like a small qualification at the end, like a diploma sort of thing. So that will just be to find out whether you're interested in it
and you enjoy it,
and whether you can do the basics to progress on to the more complicated stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to have JA11 carpentry, something like that would be nice. By the time I'm 35, 36, I got a van, because my dad's a plumber, and he's got his own van, like self-employed plumber, basically.
Yeah.
He does well for himself. And, something like that to go around, plumbers and carpenters, they sort of work hand in hand, I've got a job, but I need this doing in the bathroom or whatever, etc., vice versa. So we can work off each other like that. So that's what I've sort of decided I'm going to give a go at it then in January. See how this 6 months goes of like the taste of diploma. And then, hopefully if I'm good enough and enjoy it enough, then that's what I'll go for.
Mate, it sounds like your path's laid out, pal. A good career at the Blues now. Couple of years with Japan and elsewhere. One in the NRL, and then open up a chippy firm.
I'll have to do 2 in Japan, just so I got enough in the bank end to open up. So I got enough tucked away to open up the company, and then
you can buy a fleet of vans then.
Yeah, well, that's it then. I'll employ my brother or something.
Hey, mate, that's class. Honestly, thank you so much for coming on, pal.
Yeah,
Been
mate,
an
no
absolute
problem.
pleasure. Hopefully, we can get back to some sort of normality soon and catch you
We can
after a game and
some light now, can we?
yeah, catch you after a game, have a pint or whatever, and we'll catch up soon. All right.
Yeah, no worries. Top man.
Top man. Cheers, Josh. Take care, pal, and I'll speak to you soon.
Ledge.
Take care, mate. Ta-ra.